Out on the far edge of human space, where stations creak and welders sing louder than voices, one forgotten mechanic answered a knock at midnight. He expected trouble. Instead, he found a trembling alien girl, her life hanging on failing tech, her violet eyes filled with fear. He saved her with nothing but scrap, stubbornness, and compassion. By dawn, she was gone. But by the next day, the sky above his outpost darkened with the arrival of a colossal dreadnought and a revelation that would shake the galaxy. If you love stories where ordinary people change the fate of entire civilizations, you're in the right place. Stick around, because what begins as a simple act of kindness turns into a moment that rewrites interstellar history. Don't forget to like this video, subscribe for more epic HFY tales, and share it with a friend who loves a good twist of humanity versus the cosmos. Out on the edge of known space, time doesn't flow the way it does on Earth. Days blur together, measured not by sunrise or sunset, but by the low hum of recycled air and the hiss of patched-up systems. On Frontier Station Epsilon 7, that hum was a lifeline, and the only thing keeping the place alive was a young mechanic named Adam Torres. Adam was 24. 6 of those years had been spent as a station shadow. He wasn't an officer, not a soldier, not even officially on the payroll. He was simply the one who fixed what everyone else ignored. A leaking valve, a broken comms relay, a dying generator. If Adam didn't coax life back into it with scraps and grit, the outpost would have gone dark years ago. To him, survival wasn't glamorous. It was 1,000 small victories against rust and entropy. His best companion was a blue-white arc of his plasma welder, its song echoing through empty maintenance bays long after the crews had gone to sleep. And it was in one of those late hours, with sparks dancing across his visor, that Adam first heard it, the knock, a frantic, metallic drumming on the outer hatch. Now, out here, a knock at midnight was never good news. Smugglers, raiders, desperate scavengers. You learned quickly that anyone showing up uninvited was trouble. But Adam also knew something else. Out here, you didn't ignore a call for help. Not if you had any humanity left in you. He killed the welder, wiped grease from his hands, and thumbed the external viewer. Static. Then, for the briefest moment, an image cleared, a slight figure slumped against the steel, shaking violently in the thin, artificial atmosphere. Against his better judgment, Adam cycled the airlock. The figure collapsed inside. Not human. She was small, maybe the equivalent of a 16-year-old girl in human terms. Her skin glowed faintly cyan, her eyes wide and violet like twin galaxies, her temples crowned with delicate crystalline horns. A Zephyran. Her breathing came in ragged gasps, her translation device shattered in her hand. Somehow, she managed words in halting standard. My ship, asteroid field, failing systems. Adam didn't hesitate. Inside, now. He guided her toward the warmth of the bay. As he did, he noticed her horns had dulled to a milky white, a sign he'd once read about in a technical brief. Critical distress. Without intervention, she had minutes left. She tried to offer him a pouch of credits with trembling hands. This is all that's left, she whispered. Pirates took everything else. Adam pushed it back gently. Keep it. Let's just get you breathing. For the next 3 hours, the world narrowed to tools, wires, and raw determination. Her environmental suit was advanced, light years ahead of the station's decaying tech. But Adam's gift wasn't having the right parts. It was making the wrong parts work anyway. He cannibalized a power cell from a half-dead cargo drone, spliced connectors where they shouldn't fit, recalibrated her atmospheric processes with a trick an old Martian engineer had once shown him. Piece by piece, life began to flow back into her systems. The girl, Kinsa, he would later learn, watched him with wide, unblinking eyes. When she could finally speak again, her voice was steadier. Why? She asked. Why help me? My people and yours, there have been wars. Adam paused, hands buried in fiber optics. He looked up at her. Maybe governments have their grudges, he said softly. But right now, I just see someone who's scared and needs help. Out here in the dark, that's the only law that matters. By the time artificial dawn lit the corridors of Epsilon 7, the crystals at her temples were glowing bright again. Her breathing was strong, steady, life restored. She touched his arm lightly. I can never repay you, but one day I will try. Adam smiled faintly, exhaustion pulling at his face. Just stay safe. That's enough. And with that, Kinsa was gone, picked up by a passing freighter. Adam watched the ship disappear into the stars, then turned back to his duties. To him, the universe was still a series of problems to be solved, one after another. What he didn't know was that within 24 hours, his entire world would tilt on its axis. For most of his life, Adam Torres had been invisible, just a mechanic in grease-stained coveralls, patching leaks no one else cared about. But overnight, invisibility turned into spotlight. When the Empress of the Zafran Dominion declared Epsilon 7 a hub of galactic diplomacy, the outpost transformed almost instantly. Ships streamed in where once there had been silence. Construction crews arrived with supplies the station hadn't seen in decades. Gleaming alloys, advanced reactors, atmospheric processes that actually worked. To the station's weary crew, it felt like waking from a long sleep. To Adam, it felt like standing in the middle of a storm. He wasn't built for ceremonies. Yet, here he was, being escorted through halls lined with banners bearing the Dominion crest, every passerby whispering his name. The ghost mechanic had become the outpost's unlikely symbol of hope. But what gnawed at him wasn't the attention. It was Kinsa, the girl he had found slumped against the hatch at midnight. He wondered if she remembered the way he spliced wires and muttered under his breath, the way he had brushed aside her pouch of credits. Did she even realize how much that small act had altered both of their lives? His questions were answered sooner than expected. On the third day after the Empress's arrival, Adam was summoned again. Not to a docking bay this time, but to the private audience chamber aboard the dreadnought itself. The chamber was vast, walls of crystalline architecture shimmering with soft light. Guards lined the perimeter, silent and still. And at the center stood Zara, regal as ever, this time with her daughter at her side. Kinsa's violet eyes brightened when they found Adam. Her crystalline horns glowed faintly, no longer dull and fractured but alive with vibrant light. Adam, she said softly, almost like greeting an old friend. For the first time, the Empress's stern expression softened. My daughter owes her life to you, and perhaps so does the Dominion itself. Adam shifted uncomfortably. I just did what I could. Zara tilted her head, studying him, and that is precisely why it matters. Empires are built on power, but peace? Peace is built on choices like yours. Before Adam could respond, Kinsa stepped forward. Mother, I told you. He refused my credits. He said the only law that matters in the dark is helping someone in need. The Empress regarded him in silence. Then, to Adam's shock, she dismissed the guards with a wave. What followed was not the declaration of a ruler. It was a confession of a mother. Adam Torres, she began quietly, you must understand something. My daughter is not simply a princess. She is the sole heir to the throne. She is the future of the Dominion. And until you found her, she was slipping away, lost to a void no one else would have answered. Adam felt his chest tighten. The midnight knock, the trembling figure, the broken device. He hadn't saved just anyone. He had saved the most important person in an empire that once considered humanity its rival. The Empress's eyes gleamed with something beyond authority, gratitude, respect, and, just for an instant, vulnerability. You reminded me, she said softly, that even in the silence between stars, compassion can shine brighter than fleets.